Welcome to Park Tool, and today we're fixing bikes. This bike was saved from the landfill by a nice guy called Tim, and we're trying to rebuild it. So we've already done the seat post and saddle in a previous video. Bars and stem also have been done. Time to go to the heart of the drivetrain, down here, the bottom bracket. This one looks like it needs a transplant, and that's what we're gonna do. But before we start just ripping stuff apart, there's some inspections because we're concerned with compatibility. So, step one is going to be remove the squirrel's nest. It's been a while since this thing's seen any pedaling. So first, this stuff's got to go because we need to inspect the clearance to the frame. Okay. Good. What we want to know is how close the ring is to the frame. And a simple little test is just a feeler gauge. How big is it? And I'm at least 6 millimeters. That's one inspection. Easily, we have a good chunk of space between the ring and the frame. Okay, next. The spindle also positions the front rings relative to the back sprockets. So we want to see that we're reasonable here, and that means sliding from the back toward the front. We're going to get behind and have a look. Because you're the mechanic, you need to have the mechanic's eye view. What we're trying to align is the middle of these two rings. So consider the chainring mount. The middle of that mount is going to be actually the middle that we're trying to sight to. So get yourself behind. The bike is down low to get the sight. We're going to pick the sprockets and see which one of these sprockets align with this middle point. There are 6 sprockets. We can see number 6 here, nowhere close. Number 5 is getting better, but still off. Number 4 gets close, but off. Number 3 looks pretty good. Number 2, we're well beyond it. We're going to back up. We're going to call it right along the edge of 3. That's decent chain line. That's actually common to have the rings a little bit further out. So what it means, we're going to try and duplicate whatever spindle that we had in there with our replacement. Next, these crank arms have got to come off. We can't get in there with that dust cap on the way. But first, this is why you want a steel bike. We need, in our case, a 5 millimeter, and it's going to pull off the dust cap. Hiding inside is some rust and a nut. Now we're going to take our wrench and we're going to free that counterclockwise. Whoa. Break it free, off. Crank remover is next. We're going to thread that in, nice and straight. Run that in, and this one needs a little encouragement. There we are. Snug up the threads. Excellent. Run that driver in. It's been around a long time, sitting around, so we're going to use something with some leverage, like a pedal wrench. Oh, that's good. There we go. Oh, that's kind of fun. This chain has got to go. We'll have to do something creative with that later. So now we repeat this on the other side. Second verse, same as the first. Out with the dust cap. And we can see before we go even any further, why are we doing this again? Well, you wanted some exercise, and now you're going to get it. And off. What we have is the adjustable cup and cone style. A lock ring on the non-drive side needs to be removed. First, hook spanner on it. Keep it in line, and this one is a little corroded. Imagine that. Lots of different styles of bearing cups inside. Some use pinholes. This one has a pair of wrench flats, 6-sided here, so we're simply going to use an adjustable wrench in this case. Okay, on this type of bike, we are very much sure that this is going to be a English or a BSA standard, the threading standard. And here's the grease. We ready? This is the special dry grease. So right there. There ain't no grease in there. So now, out. Oh, there we go. Oxidation. So little pieces of the frame, basically. So, yes, that's why we needed a transplant. So, and now the drive side, which we call the fixed side, it's got to go. The drive side cup is going to be a left-hand thread. It removes clockwise, and notice the wrenches, pretty common on this style, 36 millimeter flats, but very shallow engagement. It's just the nature of the beast. So we're going to use a little holder. We're going to throw a headset press here, right through here. We're going to place the wrench on. And what this is going to do is prevent slippage. So here we go. Good. That was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I broke it free, but yes, it feels it's tightening. That's because you're bumping into your holding device. So once you've freed it, this can go away, and then it'll be easier to remove. Some thread preparation in here we call rust. Now, the spindles should match fairly close. This is called a stud type. You can see that the threads are built into the spindle. The one that we have in stock is bolt type. The crank arm doesn't care, but we do care about the length. So on the stud type, you measure to the ends of the flats here. You don't measure the actual thread. So we're at 124 millimeters end to end. Our replacement, 123 end to end. Remember our inspections? Guess what? Close enough, absolutely. That's going to be just fine for us. So now we need to think about assembly, but first, some definite cleanup. The fun thing about these older bottom brackets is they're rebuildable. So why don't we rebuild it? Spindles could be had separately, cups could be had separately. Good luck finding parts in these unprecedented times. But something interesting on here, always look at your credit parts that come out. See if you can learn something. So here we can take a pick or a ballpoint pen, and I trace the ball path, and it feels terrible. It's rough, bump, 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 bump. It's dragging through there horribly. If I go away from it, it's smooth. That's what it should feel like. It's like having chuck holes in the road. They're not going to get better. And also the spindle, the same thing. Very rough. It's been pitted way over tight. And here's the interesting thing about this. Normally, this is a shiny, shiny steel, literally polished from use. You spin, 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 spin. You use it, and it gets polished. There's very, very little, effectively no polish here. Then how did these get trashed? I'm suspecting, I wasn't there, this was over tight to begin with. Just a bit of writing trashed these initially. So this was not good out of the starting gate. So our new one, cartridge, is going to go in. So we are on the drive side here. They do give us, which is nice, an L and R, left side and right side. That's what that means. It doesn't mean thread direction. This is a left-hand thread on the right side of the drive side, right side. It's going to turn in counterclockwise. But thread preparation, I think we need that here, don't we? So if you got grease, certainly don't be shy with it on the threads, that's fine. But I really don't know when are we ever going to see this poor little thing again. So what we're going to use is NTCs, the ASC1. They both do a great job. The ASC1 is simply going to last longer. So it's going to be more durable. There we go. ASC on the inside. Excellent. You could put it on the outside, but the excess will just pile up here and look ugly. So here we are. Engage. Start it by hand. Make sure we have the correct thread. That way I'm not going to strip anything. We're just going to run it down this way. So now let's apply some preload, some torque. Here we're shooting for 35 Newton meters. And here we want to hold it in so it doesn't slip. And again, good, that's tight. Next side, and on the inside, had I been more clever, I would have done that initially. Can't get there, so now I do have to go on the outside. There we go, and we're going to thread this in on the non-drive, the left side. This is a right-hand thread, and we can see that by the direction of the threads. We've got that in, it's tight. Back down your torque wrench to the last number, that's good. Crank arms, well, not just yet. A lot's going on. We may want to get in here. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We need to think about that. We got a ways to go. Issues here. We've got issues here. I think we have issues here. So there's plenty of work to be done when we save the world. Sport. See you later.